Welcome to everyone to our 60-minute Saturday Vinyasa class. Go ahead and make your way to your mat, and once you're on your mat, find a seated posture. And once you find yourself seated, bring your attention to your sitting bones and feel your sitting bones resting on your mat. Just feel that slight pressure. You can let your eyes close down. And now as you breathe in, feel the breath rising. Feel your head rising up. Feel a little bit of a stretch in the neck as the head gets even higher. And then as you exhale, relax your shoulders down. Just release any tension between the shoulder blades on the back. Let's do that about 4 more times. Breathing in deeply, and with each inhale, feel your spine lengthening, and take the time to notice what that feels like. And then on the exhale, again, relax the shoulders and just let them drop down, with the intention being to release any tension you're feeling in the upper back and the neck. About 3 more breaths, just like that. Starting from the little pressure of the sitting bones on the mat as you breathe in. Let your spine lengthen as you inhale. And then relax the shoulders back and down on the exhale. 2 more. And 1 more. And now let it go. Let's take just a moment to feel into the space, sense into the space around your body. So find the edges of the body. And then let your awareness expand just a little bit, just maybe a ½ inch beyond the boundary of your body with the air around you. And just feel into that space, noticing it. Becoming aware that this is the space that we're going to work with today in our practice. And now let that go. Bring your hands to your knees, palms facing down. Sit up nice and tall. And then look to the left and then to the right. We'll just start to move the neck a little bit to the left and to the right. And back to center. Gently lift your chin up, not too high. And then bring the chin towards the chest. Feel the stretch in the back of the neck. Inhale, lift the chin up. Exhale and bring it down. And inhale the chin so it's nice and level. You're looking straight forward. Now right ear comes towards right shoulder. And then let your head float back to center. Left ear towards the left shoulder. And head floats back to center. Again, right ear towards right shoulder. I'm confusing left and right. And left ear towards left shoulder. And back to center. Take a deep breath. And let the breath go. Take a gentle twist to the left. And then back to center and over to the right. And to the left. And to the right. 1 more time. Off to the left. Just starting to rotate the whole spine. And then back to center. Reach your arms up and overhead. And then exhale the arms down. Inhale and up. Exhale and down. And 1 more time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Bring the right hand down. Reach the left hand up and over. Very mild stretch. Now the left hand comes down and the right hand reaches up and over. And right hand down. The left hand is reaching. And rise and the left hand down and the right hand reaching. Reach it all back up. Interlace the fingers, invert the palms, stretch the palms towards the sky, press the sitting bones down. As you exhale, bring the hands down towards the mat, keep the fingers interlaced, pressing the palms away. Inhale and up. Exhale and down. 1 more time. Inhale up. And exhale and down. And now reach the arms up. Stretch up through the palms again, and then release the arms out to a T. Flip your palms so they face up like mine are. And then bend the left elbow, touch the left shoulder with the fingertips, and then straighten the arm. To the other side now. Bend the right elbow and straighten. And the left and straighten. And the right and straighten. Now make gentle fists with both hands and rotate the hands at the wrists. Just go around a couple times one way. Notice what that feels like, and then 2 or 3 times the other way. Notice what that feels like in the wrists. Notice the muscles that get activated as you do that. And when you're ready, reach your arms out in front and just move the fingers around a little bit, just dancing with the fingers. And let it go. Now bring the legs out in front. I'm going to turn to the side, and you're probably still on your mat, long way. Now bend the left knee, and then straighten the leg, and then bend and straighten. Press that left foot up towards the sky, and bend and straighten. And then bring that left leg all the way down. We're going to go to the other side with that same movement, straightening the leg. This is just like what we were doing with the elbow, only obviously we're doing it with the knee. One more time. And then bring that right leg down. Now bend the left knee and bring it across the body. We're just going to make big circles with that knee, describing big circles in the air with the knee. And come around maybe one more time. And then back to center, reach up, and then let that left leg come all the way down. Bend the right knee this time. We're going to go around with the right knee. Big circles with that right knee. Coming around. Just notice how that feels in the hip joint on that right side. And maybe one more time. Then bring it back to center and straighten, press up through the heel, and then let that right foot come all the way down to the mat. Now, bring yourself back up to a seat and find any seated or any cross-legged posture, any seated cross-legged posture. Take a deep breath and let it go. One more time, deep breath in, so lengthening the spine. Now as you exhale, first bring your chin towards your chest, then draw your navel in, and then bring your forehead down very slowly towards the mat. Many of you will begin to feel a stretch in the low back as you do that. Continue bringing the head down as far as you can, and maybe you can even touch the top of the head to the mat. Now on an inhale, keep drawing the navel in, keep your chin towards your chest, and slowly rise back up. And then once you're up, bring your hands behind you, press your palms into the mat. My fingers are pointing towards the back of the space. And now lift your chin. Bring your shoulder blades a little closer together. Lift your chin a little higher. Now as you exhale, slowly come out of the pose, leaning forward so the weight comes off the hands. And then bring the hands back to the knees, chin to chest, draw the navel in, round the spine, and bring the forehead down again, maybe touching the top of the head to the mat. On an inhale, slowly come back up. Keep drawing your navel in as you rise. Breathe in deeply and then exhale the hands behind you. Press your palms into the mat. See if you can bring your elbows a little closer together as you lift your chin nice and high. Press the hands into the mat, helping you move into a nice deep back bend. And then as you exhale, slowly come forward. Weight comes off the hands. Hands come back to the knees. Draw the navel in, and we're going to round forward one more time in this way. And then inhale and rise up. And last time, bring the hands behind you. Press the palms into the mat. So the fingers, the pinky fingers are kind of touching one another here if you can. Now lift your chin high. Press your chest up towards the sky. And then lean forward. Let your arms float high now. And then exhale and bring your hands to heart center. Good job. Inhale, reach back up, arms out to a T. Take a twist to the right and bring your left hand to your right knee this time. We're going to pause here for a moment. Take a deep breath. And then exhale and twist a little bit more deeply. And remember to twist from the navel. And what I mean by that is pull your navel to the right and back. So don't twist necessarily from the shoulders. That can torque the back. Instead, we're going to have the twist initiated by drawing the navel off to the right. One more breath. And then let it go nice and slow. And then flow back to the other side. And bring the left hand down behind you. Breathe in deeply so the spine gets long. And then exhale and find that twist. Draw the navel to the left this time. Breathe in deeply. Exhale and twist. And one more time, big deep breath. And exhale and let it go. Good. Come back to center now. Reach the arms up and overhead. Interlace the fingers. Bring the hands to the back of the head. We're going to stretch the side body now. Start by dropping the right elbow down and reach the left elbow up. Stay grounded in that left sitting bone and make sure that that left elbow is more or less over the shoulder. So try and keep things in the same plane here. Now feel into that space. Drop your right elbow down, lift the left elbow up a little bit more. And now let your feeling expand beyond the body, just into the space beyond your skin. Now inhale and slowly rise. The core engages deeply as you come up here. And then drop the left elbow down and reach the right elbow up. And again, make sure that right elbow is more or less over the shoulder. Left elbow down a little more. Stay grounded in the right sitting bone. Now engage your core and rise back up. Release your hands, reach them high. Press up through the palms. Maybe look up at the hands. And then release the hands, bring them down. I still have my fingers interlaced. I'm pressing through the palms, so stretching the shoulders. And then I'm going to bring my hands down to the mat and then bend the elbows. And I'm going to roll over the knees into table pose. Now drop your belly and lift your chin. Let's flow through some cow and cat movements. Inhaling to cow. And exhaling to cat. About 5 more times. Just flow. In, that's cow, and out to cat. Keep it moving. And a couple more times. And then when you're ready, just allow your body to start to move in whatever way it seems to want to move, without giving it much thought. So not necessarily something, if you can, that you're planning. Just sort of give your body free rein to move however it seems to want to move. Nothing to judge. Nothing to even really just think about. Just let your body move around. Just working with that natural rhythm and the natural wisdom of your body. We don't give our bodies free rein much just to do whatever they want to do. We're pretty much always in control of the body. And in this particular exercise, we're just inviting our body to move however it wants to, and that can tell us a lot about what our body needs. Not what we want it to need, and not what we necessarily want it to do, but what the body itself needs. Now begin to make your way back to table pose. And then once you're there, pick that left knee up and point the left knee straight off to the left if you can do that. And now straighten the left leg. Press back through that left heel. The toes on the left foot are still pointing to the left. Press through the heel even more. And now rotate the toes on that left foot so they point down. Then point the toes and bring the left knee forward, rounding the spine deeply, and maybe bring your knee to your chin, and then press back through the left heel. Press back really hard through that left heel, toes pointing straight down. Now rotate the toes on the left foot so they point to the left again. Then bend the left knee and bring it forward and maybe touch your left shoulder with your left knee. Now press back through the left heel. Rotate the toes so they point down. Level your hips off and then bring that left knee forward, touching the nose this time if you can, and then press straight back through the left heel. Now bring the left knee down so it meets the right knee, and let's prepare to go over to the other side. So pick up the right knee, point it straight to the right, then press back through the left heel. Your toes are pointing to the right on that right leg. Press through that right heel even more. And now rotate the toes on the right foot so they pointed down. Now point the toes and then bend the knee and bring it forward and maybe touch your chin if you can, and press back through the right heel. Rotate the toes so they point to the right, and then bend the right knee and bring it forward. Touch the right shoulder if you can with the knee, and then press back through the right heel. Pause. Now press back even more, and now rotate the toes so they point down. Point the toes on the right foot, and then bring the right knee forward and maybe touch your nose with your knee, and then press back and bring the right foot down so it meets the left foot. Let's walk the hands forward about 3 or 4 inches. Now press back towards child's pose and then glide forward. Draw your navel up as you glide forward, so you're pulling your navel towards your spine. Then glide the hips forward and then press them down. Press your heart forward, elbows nice and straight. Lift the chin just a little bit so you're looking either straight forward or maybe up just a bit. And then press back towards child's pose. Lift the navel up as you press back towards child's pose. And continue flowing, gliding the hips forward and down. Pressing the heart forward now, and then pressing back towards child's pose. Keep it flowing. 4 more times through. Breathing in and breathing out. Keep it going. And 1 more time through. Now rise back to table pose and keep your hands forward to the shoulders a little bit, and then tuck your toes and lift your hips, and let's find downward facing dog. I want you to begin in stillness. So instead of pedaling it out, press your heels down towards the mat, and then begin to bend your knees a little bit. Now bend your knees even more. Keep pressing your hands into the mat. Keep the spine long, and bend the knees even more. And now very slowly begin to straighten the legs. Keep your spine long. And then bend the knees. Bend the knees quite a bit here. And then straighten the legs. Do that 1 more time. Bend the knees. And then straighten the legs. And now if you want, go ahead and pedal it out. Bending one knee and then the other. Pressing the heel on the straightened leg down towards the mat. I feel that stretch in the back of my leg and the calf to begin, and then sometimes even in the back of the knee and all the way up into the hamstring muscles on that leg. And now find stillness again. Press the heels down. And now slowly walk your feet forward towards the hands. Try and keep your hands on the mat if you can, and come to a standing forward fold at the front of the mat. Feet about hip width apart. And bend your knees a little bit so you take some of that strain out of the back of the legs and the lower back, and let your head drop down even more. Bend the elbows if you can. Let your head come down even more. Maybe bend the knees even a little bit more. Now keep your chin on your chest. Draw your navel up as you rise. So we're rounding the spine as we come up. And then once you're up, let your arms float high. And exhale and bring your hands to heart center. Take a breath now. You can keep your eyes closed if you like. And 1 more. Fill the lungs with air. Now bring the arms out to a T and swan dive to a forward fold, and then come to a half lift. And remember that in the half lift, there are two ways we do that. One is you can bring your hands to the top of your shins like this. When you do that, bring your weight forward into the front of the feet a little bit so your heels are almost floating. Keep your spine long, keep your gaze straight down at the mat. I feel that in the back of the legs, maybe into the knees a little bit, and lots of length in the spine at the same time. The other way to do a half lift, if you can, if you have the flexibility, is to bring the hands all the way down to the mat and press the palms into the mat. Maybe even bring the hands back a little bit. Will deepen the sensation. And now notice my back is not nearly parallel to the mat. Here I'll lift my head up a little, lift my chin away from my chest. And exhale, let your head drop down. Now bring the arms out to a T, I can hardly spit that out, and press into the front of the feet and rise nice and slow, feeling that. I'm feeling that in the glutes and the hamstrings are helping me to rise, and then reach the arms up. Look up and exhale and bring the hands to heart center. Let's flow through that one more time. Inhale up, and now swan dive, forward fold. Come to your half lift, whichever way you like, either hands on the mat or hands on the shins. Work here on lengthening the spine and feeling the sensation that you're creating in the back of the legs and the glutes, maybe the low back. As you exhale, let your head drop down. A little bend in the knees is fine. Let your head get heavier. Bend the elbows if you want. Now with your chin on your chest, draw your navel up to help you rise. The spine is rounding as you come up. And then once you're all the way up, let your arms float high, and then exhale and bring the hands to heart center. Just like we did before, let your eyes close down now and just take a couple of breaths. Let everything settle in. Feel the breath settling into your body. Beautiful. Now bring the hands behind you. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Let's stretch out the shoulders and the top of the chest a little bit. Gaze is straight forward. Press the knuckles down towards the heels. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, keep your spine long. Hinge at the hips and fold forward. The knees can bend a bit if you like. Weight comes into the front of the feet. The heels almost float. Reach the knuckles towards the sky. Maybe the knuckles reach forward towards the front of your space. And then release the hands. Slowly bring the hands down to the mat. Keep your right foot forward and step your left foot back into runner's lunge. Press the right knee forward so that right leg is bent about 90 degrees. We have a 90-degree angle at the knee. Press back on the left heel. Now step the right foot back into plank pose. Take a breath in plank. And then as you exhale, flow through a vinyasa. Either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. I did a chaturanga into upward facing dog. My knees are off the mat. You do that if you can. Press your heart forward, navel forward, coming into a beautiful deep back bend. One more breath. Now slowly rise into downward dog, lifting the hips and tucking the toes. Press the heels down towards the mat. Reach your tailbone towards the top of the space behind you. Press your hands into the mat. Now bend your knees and either hop or walk forward into a standing forward fold. This is probably fourth or fifth one of those. Let your head get heavy. Let your forehead come closer to your knees or your shins. Now the arms come out to a T. Press into the front of the feet and rise nice and slow. Notice where you're feeling the muscular engagement, where you're feeling the tension. Let your arms float high, and then exhale and bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, reach back up. Bring the hands behind you. Second time. This time interlace the fingers in the non-dominant way. Press the knuckles towards the heels. Shoulder blades coming close together. Your gaze is straight forward. Now hinge at the hips. Keep your spine nice and long, just the way it was when you were standing. You're just hinging at the hips. The knees can bend here if you need to. Let your head drop down. Reach the knuckles high and maybe forward. And then release the hands. Bring them down. Now leave your left foot forward and step the right foot back into a runner's lunge. Check in with that left leg. See if the left knee is bent just about 90 degrees. Press back on the right heel. Now step the left foot back into plank pose. Take a breath. Now flow through Vinyasa. Upward dog. And when you're ready, downward facing dog. Press the heels down towards the mat. Take a breath. And one more. Now on an inhale, reach your right leg high and then open the hips to the right. This is three-legged dog. Notice my shoulders, hopefully, are square to the front of the mat. And I am working on stacking my right hip over my left hip. I'm pressing my left heel down towards the mat. In my case, my left heel actually reaches the mat. Yours may or may not. It depends on how flexible your Achilles tendon and the calf muscles are. Now level the hips and then step the right foot forward so it comes between the hands. Take a breath. Now bring your left knee to the mat. Untuck the toes on the left foot and reach your arms up and overhead. Low crescent lunge. We've done this pose a million times. Press that right knee forward. You know what to feel for. Probably sensation in the top of the left thigh. Also sensation for many of us in the hip on the right side. Maybe you're feeling a nice stretch in the upper body and the shoulders. Now bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers. Keep pressing the right knee forward. Press your knuckles towards the left heel. Maybe lift your gaze up so you're looking towards the sky. Hard for me to talk with my chin lifted that way. Release your hands. Reach them high. Then out to a T. Take a twist. Left elbow comes to the right knee. The right elbow reaches high as we come to our prayer twist. Let's come out of this the way we came in. Reach the right hand back to begin. The left hand reaches forward, and you're looking off to the right with the palms facing the right. Now back to center. Reach the arms high, and exhale to heart center. Tuck your toes and bring that left knee off the mat, and the right foot steps back into plank pose. Take a breath in plank, and then through a vinyasa. Upward dog, and downward dog. Press the hands into the mat. Lengthen the spine. Feel that stretch. All the way from the hands pressing into the mat, up through the back, starting at the upper back, and then the mid back and lower back, then into the hips. You feel it in the back of the legs as well. I do. And even into the back of the knees. What you're feeling there are the attachment points of the hamstrings in the back of the knees and into the calves and all the way into the Achilles tendons. On an inhale, lift the left leg high and find your three-legged dog, opening the hips to the left. See if you can work on stacking that left hip over the right hip even a little bit more. Relax your left foot a little bit. Good, now level the hips. And then step the left foot forward so it comes between the hands. And then bring the right knee to the mat. Untuck the toes on that right foot so you're pressing the top of the right foot into the mat. Now press into the left foot and rise to a low crescent lunge. Reach up high. And then the arms come out to a T. Take your twist. Right elbow to left knee. Palms joined together. Reach the left elbow high. How's everybody doing? Are you doing all right? Good. Let's come out the way we came in. Left hand reaches back. Right hand reaches forward. Palms to the left. And then back to center. Reach up high. And as you exhale, bring your hands down. Then tuck your toes. Bring your right knee off the mat. Press back on the right heel. Take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, transfer the weight to the left foot and step the right foot forward into a standing forward fold. Let your head drop down. A little bend in the knees is fine. Now bring the arms out to a T and press into the front of the feet. So bring your weight consciously forward and then slowly rise back up. Let your arms float up high and then exhale and bring your hands to heart center. Let your eyes close down. You feel warmed up? I do. Now allow your eyes to open. And we're going to practice balance a little bit. And I know that some of you use the support of a wall or a post near you in order to help with balance. And that's just fine. I want to encourage that. But there's a way to do it that works better and a way to do it that doesn't work as well. And what I thought I would show you today is the way that works better. So we're going to find tree pose, and we're going to begin by transferring the weight to the right foot and picking the left foot up. So our tendency here, I'm going to do it from here, hopefully you can see me, is to reach the hand out like that in order to balance. But that actually pulls you out of balance. What I would prefer that you do is just to bring your right hip to the wall and then pick the left foot up. And then you can bring your hands to heart center and begin to feel yourself in the pose and feel the balance. And you can then regulate the support by moving your body over a little bit so that you're actually not even resting your body on the wall anymore, that right hip and maybe the right shoulder. They can move away from the wall, and you can actually then begin to feel the balance without the support. When you have your hand out, what you're doing is bringing yourself out of the balancing pose. So those of you who are using that support, continue to do that. Those of you who are not, who are just balancing without the support, continue in the pose. 2 more breaths. And 1 more. Now bring your arms out to a T. And those of you who are against the wall, you're going to want to move away from the wall now and back to your mat. And then warrior 3, airplane variation. Kick that left leg back. Reach the right hand forward. I guess I could use some support today. Lengthen. And now half moon pose. Bring the right hand down. Reach the left hand up. Stay grounded in that whole left foot. Open the hips to your left, and maybe the toes on that left foot point off to the side as well. Now finish by bringing the left hand down into standing splits. Bend the elbows, let your shoulders come down, and reach the left leg up a little higher. If you want to play with balance here, one or both hands can come to the ankle of the standing leg. And that right knee of the standing leg can bend a little bit if you like. Now bend the right knee and step way back with the left foot into runner's lunge. Leave your left hand on the mat, reach your right hand high into a lunge twist. And then bring the right hand down to the inside of the right foot and reach the left hand high into a revolved lunge twist. Spin your left heel to the mat and rise to warrior 2. Bend the right knee a little more. Check in with your alignment. Make sure that right knee is pointing straight forward. And you can look at the toes on the back foot, making sure they're pointing 90 degrees to the left. Take a breath. And let it go. Now straighten your right leg. Let's find a reverse triangle pose, reaching up and back with the right hand. Remember to draw your navel in, so you're not arching the low back too much. And now the arms come out to a T and reach the right hand forward into triangle pose. Reach the left hand up. Spine is nice and long. And breathe. Just enjoy about 3 breaths here. And 1 more. Now begin to bend the right knee and rise to warrior 2. Take a breath. Awesome. Now cartwheel the hands down on either side of that right foot. Come up onto the ball of the left foot and reach the right leg high. So that right leg is reaching up towards the sky. The left foot is on the mat. Now bend the right knee and bring it forward. Touch your chin with your right knee if you can. And then kick the right leg back up. Now right knee towards right shoulder. You can bend the elbows here if you want to. And then Kick that right leg all the way back up. Now right knee under the body towards the right or left shoulder. Bend the elbows if you want, and then kick that right leg all the way back up. Now bring the right leg down so it meets the left and find downward facing dog. Stretch it out. Now glide forward to plank pose. Take a breath and then flow through a vinyasa. Come into upward facing dog. And when you're ready, downward facing dog. Press the heels down towards the mat. Now bend the knees and hop. Bring the feet between the hands. Maybe you walked, maybe you hopped. Arms out to a T. Press into the front of the feet and begin to rise. And let your arms float high. And then exhale and bring your hands to heart center. Take a breath. And one more. Now reach the arms up and overhead and then bend the knees into chair pose. Whoa. Bring the weight back into the heels. I brought my weight back into the heels so much that I actually need to step back. Now bring your hands to heart center and press your palms together. Take a twist, left elbow to right knee. Check in with those knees. Make sure the knees are even with one another. And then back to center, back to chair. Hands to heart center again. Let's find our chair twist on the second side. Right elbow to the left knee. The left elbow reaches high, and check in with those knees again. Make sure that they're even. And then back to center, back to chair. And now reach up and swan dive, forward fold. Come to a half lift. Exhale the hands all the way down to the mat. Step or jump back to plank pose. Flow through a vinyasa, upward dog, and downward dog. Bend the knees deeply and hop. Feet end up eventually between the hands, whether you walked or hopped. Now interlace your fingers behind your back. Press the knuckles high. Bring your weight into the front of the feet and slowly rise. Once you're up, press the knuckles down and then release the hands. Reach them high and let your hands come to heart center now. Eyes closed down. 3 breaths. Let the weight come so it's evenly distributed in both feet. Let your breath return to its normal rhythm and feel into the space around your body. Notice that sensation, the feeling of what's around your body, outside of the skin, may have expanded a little bit. So instead of maybe just half an inch, maybe you're feeling into a space that's a little bit larger than that. Let's find our balancing pose on the second side. Bring the weight to the left foot, pick the right foot up into tree pose, again on your second side. And you can use the support of the wall again if you like. Just like we did before. And now regardless of whether you're using support or not, open up that right knee a little bit. So move the knee back and to the right. Keep the hips square to the front of the mat. Keep your gaze forward, or maybe a little bit down. 2 more breaths. Beautiful balancing pose. If you're against the wall, move away from the wall and then bring your arms out to a T. Now hinge at that left hip into Warrior 3, again, airplane variation. Now bring the left hand down into a half moon pose. Keep pressing into that left foot. Reach the right hand high, open the hips to the right. Lengthen through that right foot and the head. And then bring the right hand down. Standing splits.
Lift that right leg high, bend the elbows, the left knee can bend. See if you can bring your forehead a little closer to your knee or your shin. Now bend the left knee and step way back with the right foot into runner's lunge. Right hand stays on the mat, left hand reaches high, lunge twist. Now the left hand down, the right hand reaches. That left hand has come to the inside of the foot. And then bring the right hand down. The left hand comes to the outside of that left foot. Press back on the right heel. Now reach that left leg all the way up and overhead. And now knee to nose, round the spine. You can bend the elbows if you want. And then kick that left leg back up. Now knee to left elbow. Bend the elbows if you want. And kick that left leg all the way back up. Now under the body. Touch the right elbow with the knee. And then kick it all the way back up. And then step the left foot forward so it comes between the hands. Spin your right heel to the mat and rise to Warrior Two. Take a breath. Settle into the pose even more. Now straighten the left leg. Reverse triangle pose. Press into that left foot. Reach with the left hand. Now bring your arms out to a T. Square your hips so the hips are parallel to the long edge of the mat. Reach the hands apart from one another. Now press into your right foot and reach your left hand forward and come down to triangle pose, dropping the left hand down, reaching the right hand up. 3 more breaths in triangle pose. Breathe in deeply. Feel into the space around you. Now rise back to Warrior Two. And see if you can bend that left knee a little bit more so you're challenging the quadriceps on the left leg. Anchor into the pinky toe of the right foot. Beautiful. Now cartwheel the hands down on either side of that forward foot. And then glide forward and step the, sorry, that isn't what I meant. Step the forward foot back into plank pose. Take a breath. 2 more. Deep breath in. And 1 more big deep breath. Now let's flow through our final vinyasa. Either a chaturanga or an upward facing dog. Sorry, knees, chest, chin. Into an upward facing dog. So my brain seems disengaged from my mouth a little bit today. See if you can remain in the upward dog. 1 more breath. And then when you're ready, slowly transition to downward facing dog. And stretch it out. Now bend your knees and hop or walk forward. Let your head drop down. Now bend the knees and rise. Chair pose. Second series in chair. Now hands to heart center. And chair twists. Second time, right elbow to left knee. Left elbow reaches high. Keep the palms together as you come back to center. The core engages pretty well as you do that. And other side, left elbow to right knee. And back to center. Straighten up, reach up high. And then swan dive, forward fold. Come to a half lift. And then exhale the hands all the way down to the mat. And step your right foot back. Left foot's going to follow into plank pose. And then lift your hips, downward dog. There's no vinyasa there. On an inhale, reach your right leg up. We're going to move now towards pigeon pose. So bring that right knee forward.
Bringing the right knee towards the right hand, the right foot towards the left hand, and then maybe pull that left knee back a little bit. See if you can settle both the right hip and the left hip onto the mat so the hips stay level. And remember, if that's not working for you, if your left hip is up above the right hip, then bring a block or some other kind of prop below that right hip. And then that'll help the left hip to drop down. Now, resting pigeon. Slowly walk the hands forward. Maybe come down to the elbows. Check in with those hips. Make sure they're still nice and level. And maybe even walk the hands forward and let your forehead rest on the mat. Moving deeply into resting pigeon pose. Now 3 breaths. Just letting everything settle. 2 more breaths. And 1 more. Now, walk the hands back. And then tuck your toes and bring your left knee off the mat. Step the right foot back to plank pose. Now find 3 breaths in plank. 2 more, big deep breaths. And 1 more. Now just lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Press the heels down. Press your hands into the mat so you're lengthening the whole back body. Now on an inhale, reach the left leg up, and then we're going to find pigeon pose on our second side. So bring the left knee forward. Notice your weight shifting into your left hand, or into both hands. And then bring the left knee to the left hand, the left foot towards the right hand. And then maybe walk that right knee back a little bit. The toes on the right foot are untucked. If you want to, you can rise up a little bit. And then check in with those hips. See if the hips are pretty much level to the mat. If they're not, use your prop below that left hip. That'll let the right hip drop down. Another breath or so. Then you know what to do when you're ready. Come into resting pigeon. First come down to the elbows, just like we did on the other side. Pause there for a moment. Take a breath. See what it feels like. Notice the sensation in the hip on the left side. Maybe at the top of the right leg in the hip flexor muscles on the right side. If you want to come down further into the pose, walk the hands forward, and then let your chest drop down. Maybe bringing your forehead all the way to the mat. 3 breaths. 2 more. And 1 more breath. Now slowly rise, walk the hands back towards your body. Then what I'd like you to do is to roll over onto the left hip and then swing the right leg around in front, swing the left leg around in front so both feet are reaching forward. Reach your arms up and overhead and then exhale and fold forward over both legs, a very deep forward fold. Feel the nice stretch. At least for me, I'm feeling that in the low back as well as the upper part of the glutes. Let your forehead come down towards your knees. Remember to bend the knees if you want to. So the idea here is to keep the spine long, and that may create too much sensation for you in the back of the legs. If it does, just bend your knees and keep your spine long. Now, chin comes to chest, round your spine, and rise up. And then once you're all the way up, bring your hands to the mat. Press the palms into the mat on either side of the hips into staff pose, and then pull your shoulders back and down. Notice a little bit of diminished weight on the sitting bones. At least that's the way it feels for me. Now we're going to try something we haven't done in a while. And what I'd like you to do is keep that right leg out and bend the left knee, opening the hips. So I have, well, there's more than a 90-degree angle between my thighs here, probably more like, I don't know, 110 degrees or 120 degrees. Open up the hips as wide as you can. Keep your spine long. And then turn your body so that your shoulders square to the bent left knee. Now reach your right hand high, and then bend the right elbow and bring it to the inside of the knee, and get a hold of the right foot with the left hand, or sorry, that's the right hand, if you can. Reach the left hand up and overhead, and then let the left hand dangle down, bending that left elbow, and maybe you can get a hold of the foot with the left hand as well. So both feet are on that right foot, or both hands rather, on the right foot. Now breathe in and reach your head towards the foot. And then exhale and maybe twist and open up, looking up towards the sky a little bit. So very deep stretch of the side body and the hip. One more breath. Now let the left elbow come down and then round as you rise. Beautiful. Let's go to the second side. So this time we'll reach the left leg out. Left leg is straight. Open that right hip up, bending the right knee. And now square your shoulders to the bent right knee. Reach the left hand high and bring the left elbow down to the inside of that left knee and get a hold of the left foot with the left hand. Reach the right hand high and then reach the right hand. Maybe this is as far as you get, or maybe you're even up here. It doesn't really matter. Or maybe you can get a hold of the foot with the hand. It's a little bit more challenging for me on this side. And breathe. On an inhale, lengthen your spine, bringing your head a little bit closer to that foot. And on the exhale, let your head drop down and maybe twist a little bit more, opening the right side of the heart space up towards the sky. Do that one more time. Deep breath in. Exhale and twist. And now bring that right elbow down and slowly round as you rise. Take a deep breath once you're up, and then bring the soles of the feet together into Cobbler Pose. Hands to the ankles now. Pull up on the ankles. Now bring the shoulders back and down. And let it go. And bring the knees back together. And then once your knees are bent, bring your feet so they're about hip width apart. And then reach the arms out. Flip the palms so they face up. Thumbs are pointing apart from one another. And now slowly come down to your back. So the spine is really deeply rounded. And first thing I'll feel is my tailbone pressing into the mat. And then as I come up the spine, I feel the sacrum, and then the rest of the lumbar spine. And then eventually come all the way down to your back. Once you're on your back, adjust your position as you need to on your mat, and then walk your feet back until you can brush the heels with your fingertips, preparing for bridge pose. This is our bridge prep position. And once you're there, press your feet into the mat and lift your hips into bridge pose. And just take about 3 breaths in bridge. Feel the back bend. Maybe lift your hips a little higher. Remember to draw the shoulder blades together on the back. And one more breath. And then release. Bring the tailbone to the mat and then hug your knees in towards your chest. See if you can keep the back of the head on the mat and press the back of the shoulders down so the shoulder blades are pressing into the mat. Now release the hands, bring them out to a T. Let your knees rise up. And we're going to do a supine twist. Keep the knees bent and let the knees travel over to the left and land. Your right hip comes up above the mat and then look off to the right. You can let your eyes close down now if you want to.
Take a deep breath in, and then exhale into the space around your body. Kind of softening into that space. Do that again. Deep breath in, exhale, and just soften into the space that you're occupying. When you're ready, let your knees float back to center and right over to the other side. So the knees come to the right, your gaze is to the left. Again, the eyes can close down. Now inhale into the space. And exhale and surrender. Just let go. Do that again. Inhale into the space around. And exhale and let it go. Let your knees come back to center again. And center your hips on your mat if they're off center. And then let's find happy baby pose. Bring the hands to the pinky toe side of the feet. Notice the soles of my feet are reaching up to the sky. They're pretty much parallel with the ceiling and the floor. And my knees are pressing down towards my armpits. Try and relax the upper part of the back. And press the shoulder blades down. And now pull your tailbone down. So the tendency is to kind of lift the tailbone up like that because it's easier on your hamstrings. But you'll get more of a stretch if you pull the tailbone down towards the mat and keep the soles of the feet reaching up towards the sky. Just 2 more breaths in happy baby pose. And 1 more breath. Now bring the soles of the feet back together. And then cup your hands on the outside of the feet, the pinky toe side. And then pull your heels down towards your pubic bone. Let your knees open up really wide. Press the soles of the feet into one another. Take a deep breath. And exhale and let go. And do that again. A big deep breath. Press the soles of the feet towards one another. And exhale. And release the breath. And then release your hands from your feet. And let's release into Shavasana. Straighten your legs. You can flip your palms so they face up if you like. Or you can have the palms pressing down if that feels more grounding to you. Now, once you've found a position that you can maintain for a couple of minutes that feels comfortable, then begin to become aware of your whole body. So bring your awareness to your whole body. And just feel your whole body resting on your mat. And now bring your attention to the surface of your body, your skin. And just feel that boundary between your skin and either the mat you're resting on or the air that surrounds the skin. And once you become aware of that boundary, then allow your consciousness to move beyond that boundary, exploring again what's beyond the skin. And maybe your consciousness can reach out 1/2 inch, or maybe even farther than that. Maybe 1 inch or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, and just explore that space with your awareness.
Now bring your awareness back to your breath and feel your body breathing in and out. Feel the inhale and feel the exhale. Experience the flowing nature of the breath. Notice how it's always moving, either flowing in or flowing out, or pausing for just a moment with the transition between the inhale and the exhale, or the exhale and the inhale. Now let all of that go. And then when you're ready, roll to your side. Let your eyes remain closed down on your side. Take just a moment to notice this experience, the experience of resting on your side. Then begin to bring yourself to a seat. Your eyes can remain closed down if you like, or you can open them gently. Once you're seated, bring your hands to heart center. And once you're there, take a moment, as we did at the very beginning of this practice, to notice the sensation of your sitting bones resting on your mat. Just notice what that feels like. Remember, that's how we began this practice, was with that feeling. Let's bring our practice to a conclusion now with loving kindness. May you be happy and well, and may you be safe. May you be peaceful, and may you always be at ease. Namaste.